Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome to A Free Solution. It's your host today, Saturday, July 23rd, 2022. And guys, who I brought in with me is exactly the kind of person that I want to encourage running for office. We've got a guy from Washington County, Indiana. His name is Tommy Brown. He's running for Washington County Commissioner. It's a strongly red Republican area. He's got things that he wants to bring to the table. And look, guys, I'm telling you right now, even running, we can make impact. We can get people awake. We can bring notions of freedom and liberty to our friends and neighbors. And so, Tommy Brown, I thanks for joining me today, brother. What do you say? How you doing?
Man, Tim, it's an honor to be here, man. I tell you, I know you and I had planned this for a long time, and it seemed like every time we got close, it was like, nope, roadblock.
Oh, work has been rough on this old guy, man. I mean, I love getting up and doing hard jobs, complicated jobs, and physically demanding jobs, but it leaves me with little room for recreation, and sometimes I'm tired, right? I'm wore right out. Do you know anything about that, Tom?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I fought that fight, and it's no fun.
Yeah. So what I want to do is kind of give people a little bit about your background to start with, right? So basically, you grew up in Washington County. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I was born and raised here. I've spent my whole life here. Born at Washington County Memorial Hospital. To a doctor that was singing the song "Knock Three Times on the Ceiling If You Want Me."
Now that is pretty funny. How did you get that information? Your parents tell you that?
Yeah, actually, my dad told me that because they escorted Dad downstairs. He no more than got in the chair. They paged him to go back upstairs because I had arrived.
So I think one of the points I want to make is locally, even right. We had a guy like you just kind of worked hard his whole life, run for office. He managed to get a position on a school board. We had a somewhat authoritarian kind of superintendent, and right after that guy got elected, the superintendent decided to leave. So I just dramatic impact is in fact possible. So you went to high school in Washington County too?
Yeah, we have three county schools here. I went to school at Salem, where I live, and I had a really good education. The Salem school system had it done me a favor because hadn't it been for the education I had, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, well, one of the things that you talk about is you kind of call yourself a conservatarian, which probably, as a lot of people know, that's kind of how I got to the Libertarian Party. I was like a conservative, like really believed in small government. I really don't like wars. I really don't like overseas military actions. I think that we do our children a disservice by sending them over to police oil fields. I think we do the world a disservice by being aggressive. You want to talk about that a little bit?
You know, I was born and raised. I hate to even admit this. I was born and raised Republican.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was, I grew up with Ronald Reagan or Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan as president.
Oh, me too, bro. Me too.
Long about 1992, I got an education because a man from Texas, an ex-Navy SEAL with big ears and a small head named Ross Perot showed up. And I tell you what, the man was literally he was steamrolling over Republicans and Democrats. And I thought, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Well, I kept playing around with it. I ran for sheriff in 2007 as a rhino.
Yeah.
That was my first quote unquote election experience.
You've been chasing public office for a while then. I like that.
Yeah. And then 2016 was kind of what I would call my letdown.
Yeah.
I had filed to run for city council as an independent because I got fed up with the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a health issue that popped up, and it was ugly.
Yeah.
And the doctor, he's like, you can either run for office and be paralyzed, or you can withdraw now and we can get you back on your feet. I'm
You
like, you
needed
know
the rest.
what? I'll
Yeah.
just pull out and I'll wait a couple years. 2016, I joined the Libertarian Party.
Okay.
Ran for county council as a Libertarian in 18. In 2020, I lost my dad in April.
Yeah.
A deathbed confession is he wanted me to take $1,500 out of the money left over from his life insurance policy
Mm-hmm.
and cement my libertarian roots as a lifetime member. And I done that.
Wow. So your dad offered you some big support there. I like
Yes,
that.
he did.
Jeez.
Yes, he. If you follow my my actual profile, I always refer to my dad as my battle buddy. Anytime I got, and that's why I miss him so much now, is I wish he was here to see what I was doing and to kind of give me a kick in the pants when I get stuck to get me unstuck. But,
Yeah. I think that's a dad's job. They got to do their best there. But at least you have that background there where you have that memory of your dad kicking you in the butt in the past and getting you on the right track.
well, he always told me, never forget, a pat on the back ain't nothing but 18 inches from a kick in the butt.
Yeah. I might use that one in the future. That's pretty cool. So Tommy, like you've witnessed things change in your area, is what I'm presuming, and you want to fix. What do you want to fix? The big things. What are the big issues for you in this
Well,
campaign?
the top one right off the bat is we've got to get a cybersecurity policy in this county, and we've got to have somebody in office that understands it.
And you're just a county worker. You don't understand cybersecurity. That's a bunch of crap. You're nobody.
You think so, huh?
I don't know, man. That's
Okay.
your invitation to
So,
explain your knowledge about cybersecurity, bro.
so back when the SolarWinds thing hit, I had done a podcast with Larry Sharp in 2018 when I ran for county council. I told Larry then, I'm like, we are in a cyber war, and it's been going on since 2016 when John McAfee announced it.
Yeah.
And by the way, for your listeners and for you, John McAfee was the one that taught me.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, I seen solar. I didn't know what the name of it would be.
Right.
I felt SolarWinds coming. Ransomware is getting out of hand because now they've taken ransomware and they've morphed it into the old Trojan horse. The next big thing that's coming is called extortionware.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear that. What is this?
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to make up some big fictitious lie about you and tell everybody in the world that if you don't pay them X number of dollars, they're going to release this filthy information on you and basically extort money from you when really what they have is nothing.
I look at some of the politicians and some of the garbage that's been released about them that turns out to be true. It doesn't seem to hurt them. I'd almost welcome it. It would increase my popularity. I'd be like, that's free advertising for me. What do you think about that?
The only problem with that, I mean, it's great for the individual,
right?
But for the small county, that could bankrupt a small county.
Oh,
in no time. The average ransomware payment right now is $640,000.
Wow. And people just pay it, right? Because some ransom company comes in, seizes all your computers, and then they charge you to unlock them, right?
Well, okay, but here's the question. Even if you pay it, what's to stop them from just destroying you? The money is no guarantee.
That's true.
The money is no guarantee. We've had counties in Indiana get hit by ransomware.
Yeah, it's happened. I mean, there was stuff where they shut down the pipeline stuff. Remember that down in
Yep.
Yeah, you know about it. You tell would you have been your policy's been able to stop stuff like that?
I don't know if you could ever stop it.
Okay.
But what you can do is their problem is their cybersecurity was centralized. it all focused in one area. You got when you're talking cybersecurity, you got to diversify. Everybody's got to hold a key to it. That's like in my cyber policy for Washington County. Everybody will hold a piece of it, but at the same time, everybody will be educated on how to do it better. This is not a government cash cow that you can't throw money at it. Half of cybersecurity is common sense. The best example I can give you on this is passwords. All right.
Right.
For the love of God, quit using birth dates and years. Quit using your dog's name. Quit using your address. The most difficult code to crack is phrases and statements.
They would be easy to remember, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I never actually thought of that. I change my password about 7 times a week for every different account that I have. So I like what you're saying here.
You know, my favorite one, I haven't used it yet, but my favorite one that I've heard is my cow's left butt cheek itches.
I love it. I love it. You could come up with any cow, dog, cat, like
any
what's so hard
phrase
to
you
crack
want.
that stuff?
I mean, you can use it.
Yeah. So what I think I know we've kind of touched on it, but what do you do for a living right now, Tommy?
Well, actually, I have been disabled since 2016.
Okay.
4 back surgeries, 3 strokes, and 3 heart attacks kind of just literally puts you on your can.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
I had a supporter look at me the other day, and she was like, "You know what? You're a walking miracle." She goes, "We're lucky you're even running for office."
Yeah. We are lucky, and look, health issues like that are serious, and it looks like you're making a pretty solid recovery. So you have time to kind of hunt these issues down and figure them out and come up with better solutions. I like that.
I like how you said that. Hunt the issues down. I really like that because
Yeah.
my campaign manager is a local guy who I've known for years.
Right.
And Alan told me when he first accepted to do it, he's like, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unleash the dog. I don't care how you do it. I don't care where you do it. We're just going to do it.
Okay. That's a serious statement, right? I'm looking at your Twitter page right now, and we covered the cybersecurity counter the county cyber policy. You would be able to improve security for Washington County. You want to stand on that, right?
Yeah, because your hospitals, your doctor's offices, your infrastructure, most of your water pumping stations are all online. Even your sewer department is online. If those are hacked, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Can you imagine an entire county being without water because someone crashes the computers, right?
Oh, and here's the other thing. What about our kids? They're online. Look at how often a kid is online, Tim. I mean, it's scary. Cyber safety for children is at the forefront. And if you don't educate them, how are they going to know?
I can remember catching my kid talking to strangers, like sending text messages back and forth with people she's never met. And I am like, what in the heck are you doing? And it's like, how do you stop them? So I had to have a long talk with her. I'm like, number one, you don't know that that's a 16-year-old girl that you're talking to. This could be anyone. They can send you pictures of anything, anywhere. They're asking you strange, questions. I'm glad that you haven't answered them. I'm glad that you're showing this to me. Now, how do we move forward? And I think that obviously honest, open communication with your kids is pretty important. And that's one way to enhance children's cybersecurity, right?
You're not wrong. I've got on my Twitter feed, I've got several places that are, the kid safety cyber is a great spot, because they do a topic a day. just the other day I was telling somebody, our school systems have nothing in their curriculum that teaches kids about cyber safety. Nothing.
Well, I think everybody, Tommy, look, as a libertarian, like I think there's so many ways to criticize our local school systems that I guess off the top of my head, cybersecurity should be at the top of the list of things they should teach, but they don't. And then there are things that they are teaching that they obviously should not be teaching. And so I, I just I love that you brought up education, because are you gonna? How would you impact education? Just that's kind of a tough job as a
Well,
county commissioner to impact education. But I'm curious.
the first thing you're going to have to do is it's it's all going to have to be done in negotiations. I'm going to have to go to each school system and find out first off what they're doing with cybersecurity,
Mm-hmm.
and then be like, all right, look, we need to be starting with like fourth grade kids and getting them educated. And as they move along in like they advance from elementary to middle school, you advance the curriculum a little bit. You advance what you're teaching them. By the time my ultimate goal, if I get into office, is to have one senior class work with me at a county level on cybersecurity for the entire county. Now that's a goal.
That is a goal, man. That's really cool. I like that. That's so. Here's the thing: what does your Republican have to answer that as a goal? Like your Republican counterpart, the guy you're running against. What is his platform on cybersecurity?
He doesn't have one. He laughs it off because he doesn't think that it can happen to Washington County because our border will protect us.
Oh, is that how that works?
Oh, I guess so.
I don't think that's how that works. But okay, guys, look here. This is Tommy's Twitter handle. You ought to check it out. You also on your page. I'm just going to kind of run down and test you on your stuff here, right?
Okay.
You're talking about county debt in Washington County, and so guys, what I want to show you guys is that like the former district worker, the guy that is a little bit on disability right now, but ready to help his county, has some real knowledge. So hit the people with what you know about
Okay.
county debt.
So our county in 2018, by a state mandate, because they were packing the jail with marijuana users,
Right,
go
right.
figure,
It's expensive.
they decided that they needed to expand the jail. Over $17 million later, we have a $16.8 million bond debt. These bonds are tied to property taxes.
Oh
We
God, imagine
we
that.
told everybody in 2018 they're going to raise your property taxes. What did we get? Oh, they wouldn't do that to us. That's probably a last ditch effort. I was at the public meeting, and when I went up for my comments, I asked everybody, including my opponent this year, have you guys went out and talked to your constituents about what you are doing? And do you know what I was told? You're not going to believe this. I'm sorry, this board will not have any dialogue or answer any questions, but your public input will be heard.
That isn't our county board in Otsego County holds their public meetings Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock. It's like that's not people can't go to that stuff. They can't go there to offer their opinions, and it's just, that is just bizarre, man.
And so they raised property taxes,
Of course they did. They always do.
and election came and went. Well, now we are setting a little, like I said, a little over $16 million. We just finished up with budget hearings for the county.
Mm-hmm.
There's $16 million in debt on the bond side, but yet they're asking for a proposed budget of $11.3 million. There is more pork fat and pig manure built into this budget. Here's the thing, Tim. They're not transparent.
No,
The
they are not. They are
2018
not
property
anywhere.
tax,
Because
that property tax increase was a violation of our founding documents. What does it say? No taxation without representation. Well, if you don't go talk to your constituents, what are you doing?
well, taxing them without representation, but that's been going on for a long time. They make the argument, Tommy. They make the argument. You elected them. They are representing you. They can increase your taxes, and like that is not we when we can't have open debates in open forums about property taxes, about what our money's getting spent on, and they simply write it off as your elected representatives have decided to take your property or rent you back your property for property taxes. It's a one big fat pile of garbage, man.
It is. And now the thing that they're looking to draw on is they're looking to raise the income tax rate in Washington County.
No
Why?
way.
Because they can't manage the money they have. And
No,
when I decided to run, Tim, I went back and I basically broke down everything that Ross Perot done on the economic side. I broke all that down. It took me about 3 months to get it broke down, to get it fitted for Washington County. So
nice.
I'm not going to claim that I have the perfect solution for this.
Yeah.
But I'd almost bet you I can tone it down a bit if I get into office.
Well, I think that common sense approach and being prepared to say no to growth in programs is it would be enough to help balance a budget to like slow this megalith, this monolith of government down. So again, I just want to point out you're just a guy like running for office with great ideas, and I think that is probably one of the most important things that can happen in America. Is just average people advocating for issues and running for office. Now, you ran for office in 2018. How'd you do there?
I ran against a guy that has known me all my life. Actually, Ben Bowling and I are actually really good friends. He knows the family.
Yeah.
We had a good run. That was probably one of the cleanest races that Washington County has had in a while.
That's good.
Head up, Libertarian to Republican, and I pulled 20% first time up to bat.
Awesome. Tommy, that's pretty good for a libertarian. I'll be honest with you. Those are good numbers.
I called your fellow New Yorker, Mr. Larry Sharp.
Yes.
I was down in the dumps. I was depressed. Larry's like, how'd you do? I was like, I got my head kicked in. He's like, yeah. What was your percentage? I'm like, 20. His immediate response was, you want to trade me? I'm like, well, you're probably pulling 40 or 50. He's like, try 3.
3 to 5. Look, we've had races that are considered successful in New York where my buddy Dwayne Whitmer, 1% Whitmer, pulled 3% or 1% and 1.2%. It somehow, though, I feel like we've got to keep having this conversation. We've got to keep trying. This red team versus blue team dynamic is destroying our country. They argue over nonsense. They excite us over stuff that they've been exciting us over for decades. And libertarians come to the table and say, look, here's solutions. Let's spend less money. Let's do this. Let's fix that. Let's implement some better cybersecurity, bringing real solutions to government instead of the quintessential virtue signaled yada, yada, yada nonsense that everybody gets upset over. Imaginary safety and then taxing you for that. Like that's what government's really been doing. And I think, well, guys like you are making an impact. You have again, I'm going right down your Twitter page, bro, which kind of handy, right? You can kind of find that information. You're putting everything out there. Got a jobs program. Where are we going to go with that? Maybe I'm going to call you out on your libertarian creds. Let's go. What do you got?
Bring it on, brother. I'm ready for you. So
right.
My jobs policy is right out of 1992. It's right from Ross Perot. To deal with our debt, we are going to have to reinvest into our workforce. We need to educate them. We need to because we've got an aging workforce here in Washington County. The older people
Everywhere.
are going to be retiring. The younger
Everywhere.
people, they're going to come in and they're not going to know this. We need to start a mentorship program within every factory we have. Now,
Yeah.
everybody knows that the big job producer in the workforce is small business. I want to encourage people to start their own business because
Yeah.
and this kind of goes back to the 22nd century capitalism. That's the name of the policy. If we
Hmm.
can grow the job base, increase the job base, that's going to increase the tax revenue. Well, the tax revenue will bring more money into the county. They won't have to raise taxes because they're going to be getting more tax money out of the new businesses that are brought in. We're going to have a stronger workforce, and we can probably, within 3 years, we can probably make a full payment and maybe close to a half a payment on that $16 million debt, knock that thing down, and then we can cruise.
Sorry about that. I had a
Oh,
little frog
that's
in my
fine.
throat.
The other
Um,
thing I want to do is
do it.
I want to work with the Chamber of Commerce. I really want to work with the Chamber.
Okay.
We have an entity in this county that I'm going to have to really gird my loins against because I don't trust them. It's called the Washington County Economic Growth Partnership.
Oh my God, we have those all over New York, and they're basically just like grifter centers for guys that come in and act like they act like they're going to solve all the economic problems in the county. They come in, they buy a bunch of property, they resell that property, they come up with this it's called credit farming, Tommy. I've probably talked about it on my other shows. They just say, well, the government will give us money for this, and the government will give us money for that. Let's fill out all the paperwork, and then all of those things they use to build some infrastructure that's going to cost taxpayers in their local counties and communities. No real growth happens. It's only grant money and very short term activity that's generated. But then we have long term infrastructure debt based on accepting those grants, and that's an issue.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I want to work really closely with our local Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
We've got to encourage people. If you are tired of working for the man, work for yourself. I don't care if it's an online business. You're still going to collect sales tax. You're still going to have income tax. Work from home. I mean, if anything, if COVID taught us anything in 2020 during the shutdown,
Yeah.
Tim, we can work from home and be quite comfortable doing it.
A lot of people are too comfortable doing it, if you ask me.
Well, okay, you got me there, but
I know. I'm talking about those government. They don't want to go back to work, bro. They don't want to go
right.
back to their school. They don't want to go back to their office. They want to file their paperwork from home. I get it. I totally get it.
And if we can grow the job base, and it doesn't have to be much of a growth, 5, 6, 7% job base increase. That's 5, 6, 7% more of tax revenue that county government's going to get.
Yeah.
And that 5 to 7% increase, that could be the difference, Tim, in raising taxes and not raising taxes.
This sounds a little Reagan-esque to me, Tommy, right? Like where Reagan did some things that grew the economy. He also exploded the debt. He did some things that were bad, but like his base argument was successful, right? Like let's grow the economy and that will grow tax revenues. Now, of course, the government overspent his growth. And look, he did some bad things. He was kind of a racist and whatever. I don't want to just take one side here, but I like the idea of growing tax revenue through business growth, like not credit farming, not these other systems that these guys are using.
No. And the other thing that we can do is we are a rural community. We have a
Yep.
lot of farming going on down here. Well, my other economic program involves the farmer. It's called Heartland Capitalism. We need to involve the farmers. We need to get we need to get a hemp co-op in Washington County. Hemp is the future, man. Hemp is what is going to push us forward into the next millennium. It pushed us when we was an early rising nation. We was growing hemp for Great Britain. You could be arrested if you didn't grow hemp.
Yeah, I want to tell the story of how hemp became illegal. I like telling that story in case there's some younger people out there that they're already pro cannabis. Most younger kids, like let's be honest, and I, throwing people in jail for marijuana was bullshit. How it happened, and I bet you know this, right? There was a war in the paper industry. Newspapers used to be really popular. They used to get printed. There was this war of who could make the best paper for the least amount of money. And what William Randolph Hearst did was terrorize people about hemp and cannabis and the devil's lettuce because there's a slight hallucinogenic effect to using marijuana. And he used that to win the freaking paper war. Okay. Like, and buying politicians is one of the most effective big business strategies that's been going on forever. And guys, congratulations to William Randolph Hearst for destroying our environment, murdering trees, and killing the hemp industry, and jailing countless people for a victimless issue, something that comes up out of the ground. Bro, that's how it happened. That's a reality.
Yeah, Patty Blanchard, you are spot on, my lady. That's probably one of the best comments I've heard on working from home that has ever been uttered out of anybody's mouth. You know, operating a small business online from home, she's got it right. It cuts down on travel time. Your gas expense goes down. You don't have to pay a daycare. You know, you are going to be saving more money doing that. And here's the cool thing. When it comes summertime or spring and you want to take a family vacation, take that extra gas money that you're not spending, take the daycare money that you're not spending, put it in a savings account, and take you a nice vacation with your family and enjoy yourself.
I mean, I like getting out there and getting dirty. So sometimes this work from home thing I don't pay it the deference it probably deserves because obviously Patty made some great points there, right?
She did, and that's why I said something.
Yeah, no, and that was great, man. That was great.
The other thing that I want to do is back in World War II, we had this thing called the Victory Garden. Everybody was planting a garden. Well, I've taken that and ran it up to Victory Garden 2.0.
Okay.
Ever since COVID, we have supply chain issues. Really, really bad supply chain issues.
We certainly have. And look, the government's deliberately making it worse, man. It's a freaking clown show. But go ahead.
My idea is this. I don't care if you're growing 4 tomato plants in flower pots or you're putting out a full garden. Doesn't matter to me. You do what you can do. The fact is, if everybody does it, Washington County has its own food supply growing during the growing months. And if we can get some of the older generation to show the younger generation how to can, how to freeze food, people don't have to worry. And we could flood the local farmers markets with fresh produce. We could increase the amount of fresh produce that is in the food bank to where, you know, if people don't have the money to grow it, they can at least go and get it. You know, that's all a part of the heartland capitalism. The farmers are producing theirs. Individuals are producing theirs. We don't have to worry about a supply chain issue because it's all homegrown.
Look, I'm a big fan. I trade my money and time for food from my neighbors. I do it pretty regularly. A matter of fact, I just ordered another quarter cow, and it's kind of fun. It's very rewarding. They show up at my house with boxes of meat, and I throw them in my freezer, and I'm good to go. Literally for months, man. I mean, I'm round, but like I don't eat all that much all the time. So like my food supply works pretty good. We lose electric though, I'm gonna be in trouble. You have, on that note, this is an attempt at a segue, Tommy. You have a renewable energy policy that I think you want people to know about.
Oh, buddy, I'm glad you brought that up, man. So actually, thank you, Tim.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
I'm going to give you the honor of I'm going to release my new topic right here live on your show,
Thank you.
and you're going to get to one to see if you can blow it up.
All right. I
So,
mean, I just steal it and use it myself. I don't know. Go ahead.
well, if you run for president, feel free, buddy. I don't care.
All right.
So,
Fair
the
enough.
new one is called the eco economy capitalism.
Okay.
And what this is doing is the first step is I want to take advantage of solar panels. They're
Okay.
cheap, they're inexpensive, they can be installed for very little money. So what we want to do is I don't want to force people to go do something, unlike our current Pontus who keeps wanting to push people into electric cars. I'm not doing
Right.
that. What I'm saying is let's put solar panels on all government buildings, because in Indiana, Duke Energy has to pay you for every kilowatt hour of energy that you produce.
Very nice.
The government building opens up at 8 o'clock. The janitor walks over and he flips a switch to turn the solar panels on. Well, next thing you know, that power meter is running backwards, and it's
I
just churning money. It's
did you know?
churning money. It's
I know. Did you
churning
know
money.
that what I do for a living is install solar panels? We could work out a system here. Like that's what
Uh,
I do. I
but
build solar systems. We don't like to call them farms, but we do, ground mount, commercial mount, like roof mount. We do things like that. And we build sizable things like this. The one that we're building right now is about a third of an acre. It will provide enough power to run the facility that we're building it for. And so basically, instead of them paying um what is it? Eversource in Connecticut for their electric. They're going to pay some investors for their electric, and then they get a few little credits. There's some credit farming that goes on that, like I feel a little bit twisted up about, but I enjoy building solar farms and power generation stuff. It's pretty cool.
so, we only have one piece of renewable energy infrastructure in the whole county. Belongs to a small class 2 school out toward a small town here called Pekin, Indiana. Eastern School Corporation's put in a solar farm. They paid for that solar farm in 3 years because of the money generated off of the solar energy. So,
So wow, that's pretty impressive. Here, like in New York, NYSEG is not obligated to buy your energy, so we size our solar projects at facility use. So let's say, just for an example, of a place uses a kilowatt a day, right? We would size a solar panel thing, which would only be one or two panels, but like that's how we would size there,
okay.
because there's no obligation for these companies to buy that power back, which is a problem I'd like to see corrected. I think that would actually cause, if the companies had to buy that energy back and pay for it, obviously that would incentivize its use. So, and they're already heavily regulated. They're already in bed with politicians anyway. This would be a benefit for the small guy, a regulation for the small guy. Of course, politicians aren't interested in that because that doesn't fill their campaign coffers.
Well, of course not. You know, and the thing I'm looking at is, one, it would save the county money because the electric bill. I can't imagine what the total electric bill is for the county when you start um, going through the everything.
Right.
But the start would be to build on the county government buildings, maybe even get the city government to put it on some of theirs. We could have a sizable revenue just from solar coming into the the county government. Uh, More on this eco economy capitalism. There is, if people in Washington County would watch how many truckloads of brush go to our local landfill, why are we not delimbing some of those trees? Tim already knows where I'm going. I can tell the look on his face.
Yeah, go on, keep going. We throw
Chipping
stuff
those
away that we
trees
burn.
up and selling truckloads of wood chips to power companies that burn wood chips for power. You can sell them to people that grow roses. You could sell it by the truckload. I've got 2.5 inches of maple sawdust on my flower beds for mulch, and the flowers are loving it. Now,
I mean,
it's
government stands in the way of common sense solutions all
it's
too often.
free, Tim. It's free money. The only expense you're having is for the city sanitation workers to take it to the landfill, and you're going to have to pay for the gasoline for the chipper. 4 or 5 truckloads of wood chips, and you're done.
Yeah.
You know, the other big thing in the eco economy.
And your crazy solutions. Crazy. Common sense stuff. Crazy common sense stuff.
The other one is what I consider to be the wave of the future, and that's hydrogen fuel. Okay. Hydrogen fuel is going to be the future. Now, I've already had a supporter tell me they would not vote for somebody that was all in on the new Green Deal. No, this is not the new Green Deal. What I'm looking at is solar panels have to be built. Fuel cells have to be built. Hydrogen fuel has to be produced. Let's bring in the jobs of tomorrow that filter into the eco economy. Let's encourage gas stations to put in hydrogen fuel pumps. Let's encourage fuel stations to put in, or even county government. Let's have them put in electric charging stations. Because I'm sorry, you don't know who has an electric car and who doesn't. The only way you're going to know is to get up close to them. If you don't hear a motor running, it's electric.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
You know,
they're very quiet. I like that.
There's none of that here. And my take on it is it's a great investment for the infrastructure. It's going to bring in a little bit more revenue for the county. And there's not going to be a tax increase, you know. And like I said, I want to reiterate this. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. I won't. That's against the non-aggression principle. And it's also against what Thomas Jefferson said about force. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a common sense solution so that you and your family can live without being burdened with the high cost of taxes.
You sound like Larry Sharp. I think that's wonderful. Like these ideas, like the government can get out of the way of small business. The government can get involved in showing the profitability of alternative energy sources. That all of these things are a better path into the future for us and our kids. Tommy, like I said, today it's a beautiful day in upstate New York. You and I could probably go on all day, but I think we should save this conversation for in the future. We have another one. But to summarize or wrap up, what else you got going on? Like vote. When is the election? How many votes will take you over the top? Things like that.
Well, the election is November 8th of this year. It's hard to say, Tim. I don't know. If we get a good voter turnout, I'm gonna say 2,500 to 2,700 votes will probably get it for me. It might be less. I don't know. The Republican ran unopposed in the primary. He got 2,800 votes. If I can steal 1,200 or 1,300 of them, I'm in office pretty much.
Nice.
It's if I get 40% of the vote or 45%, I've probably got it.
Okay. Well, look, brother, I love what you're doing. I love the thought that you've put into everything, guys. And that's the important part, guys, people that are running for office from where we're coming from a guy that used to just be the county worker, putting in thought, decision-making, and coming up with great solutions. Again, we talk about a better path forward into the future. Common sense can rule the day once again. And guys like Tommy Brown have common sense. Thanks, everybody. Patty, we appreciate your comments this morning. Guys, if you're out there, remember to like, comment, and share. Check this out. Follow Tommy on Twitter. Follow Tommy on Facebook. He's got lots of good ideas, and he's campaigning hard. He wants to try to make Washington County a better place and move it into a more affordable future for its citizens. He's going to cut property taxes by 72%. Well, I mean, that's what I said that, but guys, thank you all. Have a great day.